So the Vegas Golden Knights made a very interesting move here on Wednesday night, announcing that they were bringing in Phil Kessel on a $1.5 million deal, and the move generated quite a bit of buzz originally, given not only that the 34-year-old was the most prized free agent remaining on the market, but also due to the fact that he had become a league-wide favorite in recent years. And despite having to wait some time for a deal to come, it was very obvious that Kessel was always going to have a home for this season. While not the dominant force he was during his time with the Maple Leafs or the Penguins, Kessel's 52 points on a very low-scoring Arizona Coyotes team last season proved that he still had game left. That said, the Golden Knights, although are a very strange fit, and they also failed to address their biggest need at this time, which was goaltending, because just over 2 weeks ago, the Knights received a dagger when they announced that Robin Lehner would miss the entire 22-23 season due to a nagging hip injury. And though the 31-year-old struggled at times this past season, he is still regarded as one of the game's better starting goalies when healthy, and was undoubtedly the best option the Golden Knights had as a number one after getting rid of Marc-Andre Fleury last season, right? So his injury led everyone to believe that general manager Kelly McCrimmon would be making calls to find a replacement, and it was believed that Laurent Brossoit was also set to miss some time early into this season, though McCrimmon has since said he expects him to be ready from the get-go. Still, it seems very unlikely that he would feel comfortable with a tandem featuring Brossoit and Logan Thompson, but it appears that is exactly what his plan is. Recently, Shane Pang of the San Jose Hockey Now reported that several front offices believe that the Golden Knights were not in on the goalie market, and the signing of Kessel only helps further that notion. The reason this signing seems to rule out a potential goalie getting added to the mix is that McCrimmon simply has no cap space to do so. As of now, the Golden Knights sit roughly at $7 million over the maximum allowable cap, though that number will certainly decrease once Lehner's $5 million contract and Nolan Patrick's $1.2 million contract are placed on long-term injury reserve. And despite McCrimmon's suggestions that Brossoit will be ready to go for the start of the season, there is still talk that he could end up on LTIR for the early stages of the 22-23 campaign, which would help create a little more space as he carries a $2.325 million cap hit. While the cap situation involving the Golden Knights always seems to be a confusing and difficult one to navigate around, McCrimmon has somehow seemed to weave his way around it to this point and should be able to do so again. Instead, his main issue is relying on a Brossoit-Thompson tandem in what is the most crucial season in franchise history. And throughout his time in the NHL, Brossoit has proven to be a relatively reliable backup, though he has displayed a tendency to give up soft goals at inopportune times. He has done nothing to suggest that he is capable of being a starter at the NHL level, and is coming off a season in which he posted an uninspiring 2.9 goals against average, along with a .895 save percentage in a career-high 24 games. On top of all of that, he just has 106 career games under his belt, making him quite the inexperienced goalie. Now, Thompson, on the other hand, was able to get his first real crack at an NHL gig this past season, and certainly made the most of it. The undrafted 25-year-old appeared in 19 games, registering a 2.68 goals against average, paired with a .914 save percentage. He very much has the potential to become a number one goaltender in the future, though whether or not he is ready for that in 2022-23 with just 20 NHL games under his belt remains to be seen. And while this duo could really elevate one another in a battle for playing time, there is plenty to go wrong here as well. With several goaltenders up for grabs in trade scenarios such as Semyon Varlamov, go check out that video, James Reimer, and perhaps even Jake Allen at this point, one has to question why McCrimmon didn't feel that this was a better route to go down. And so going back to the offense, including with Phil Kessel, what also makes this deal rather puzzling is that while the depth of the Golden Knights forward group is certainly questionable due to their cap situations, it is still the strongest part of their team. With players in their top six, such as Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Chandler Stevenson, Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith, it goes on, goals should not be hard to come by for this group. And sure, their third and fourth line by no means looked outstanding on paper, but they were likely capable of holding their own when called upon. And had they been coming from a position where they had more money to work with, then this Kessel deal would have made a lot more sense. He certainly adds some depth scoring and should prove beneficial to a power play that was among the worst in the entire league last season. And that said, you simply cannot win in the NHL with bad goaltending. And while it is entirely possible one or both of Brossoit and Thompson to have very good seasons, they are undoubtedly the biggest question mark of a duo on any team entering the 22-23 season. Time will tell whether or not McCrimmon made the right choice here, but as of now, it seems to be a very risky bet. Thank you guys for tuning in. and have a wonderful day.